go. I got it. Everybody calm down. I figured it out. Hello. What's going on? Oh. Okay. Sorry. Hello. I guess I'll put this here. Oh my goodness. Still a little chilly here in New York. The weather's been monkeying around. It's supposed to be 70 something tomorrow though. But yeah, today was fair. We had the doors open at work. It's okay. Uh, just spring's taking its sweet time getting here. Hello. Sizing tires came out last night. I was running my hot box and trying to grow some right sides and shrink some left sides to get my staggers right. My intent is still to go to Weedsport in 2 weeks. Whether or not I run on the 26th or 27th, I haven't decided yet, but that's my intent. But then there's also Clone Wars, May the 3rd, down in Selinsgrove, which all I have is older Reapers, but I know somebody who has some somewhat fresher Reapers, and I can get them if I really wanted them. If I really want to go, but I guess I'll see how Weedsport treats me. If I get my stuff torn up, then I have no intent on going to Clone Wars as of yet, but it is in the back of my head that would be really, really cool. But yeah. Hello. Damn, unused Maxxis tires too old. 21. It depends. If you're talking about like my least experience is with Maxxis. I will say that, I've always been upfront with that. We just don't run them up here. I'm assuming they're going to be a bit harder, a bit, they with anything, if you put enough chemical on them, they probably work. Or if if it's all you got, run them. Sometimes they will hook up though. Sometimes older stuff is it's already kind of seasoned. It's already set up. It's already obviously it's probably had heat cycles and stuff to it, so it should be okay. It's just newer rubber is typically faster. I'm not going to say always, because I remember way back when there was a huge push for, like, there was a big burst race. Maybe was it the 50,000 win? I can't remember what it was, but there was a huge push for older bursts because the surface needed them. They needed a older 33, like a 1 or 2 year old. Now 21s to now, chances are those are they're not going to be as competitive. Will they work? Absolutely. Now, the benefit to running an older tire, which is maybe a little dried out, a little less grippy, is you don't have to worry so much about over prepping. You can really, if you are into wiping tires and using prep, that you can hit them pretty hard without the fear of over saturating the tread and locking yourself down. Just my opinion on it. Can I hit the like? I'll hit the like. Yeah, there you go. Gee, my chassis a little bit ago, and you told me. I think I figured out it's someone based on a serif. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, it was very serifish, if that's a word. It's not really a word, but I made it up. Serifish. It just, I saw it. I was like, yeah. And you will find that from time to time that there are chassis builders out there that are not. They're knocking off a design, but their intent isn't to be a major manufacturer to go against somebody like Phantom. They're looking at a design like, hey, I can, if you like that design, I can go ahead and bend those tubes up and weld them. I mean, it's, if you have a jig and you have the ability, a tube bender and a welder, you can copy a design. I mean, it's probably beyond my capabilities for what I have here, but it wouldn't, I weld at work and stuff. So it might not take that much to kind of copycat-ish. I think the tubing bending would be harder than notching and welding up tubes, but just my thought on it. When do you consider tire have too much bite? Is it possible to have so much? Yes, absolutely. You can absolutely slow a cart down by over prepping, or a tire being too soft for a surface and it's slowing down. It will slow down your corner speed, which will slow down your roll speed. It just feels. I describe it as heavy. It just a cart should have enough bite that you know that obviously you're getting into the corner, through the corner, and off the corner fine, but it shouldn't feel labored when you see other people running freer, and they may not have as much grip as you do, but they're able to get up off the corner and use that lightness on the track. Grip it's a fickle thing. You want enough of it to be competitive, but you don't want so much that it's bogging the car, especially in clone racing. You can over a prep a tire. You can bring a tire in too heavy. You can lock yourself down into a track too much. They have so much bite that it won't cause particularly a bad push. You won't just be locked up, and it's not always going to be the rears. But if all four tires are biting way too much, you can tell that the cart just feels slow. Like you just I almost felt that way this past Saturday. Track was real rough. I'm a fairly tough guy. I probably could have toughed out all 20 laps. I was getting beat up by the bumps. Not really John's fault. The track took on a whole bunch of rain and made it really rough. But I think that I was too low on my pressure. I did wipe in the heat race. I shouldn't have done that. I probably should have let the Burris 11s alone and then bump my pressures up. I don't know that I locked myself down, but the cart felt slow. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, you can have a tire biting too much, whether it's been wiped or it's too soft in general, and biting into the track. For Edwards, yes, been to Turkey Trot many times. I don't think I've ever. I think I've never won there. UAS, I used to go a lot for UAS at least once or twice a year, way back when. Ben Gallup whooped me. He had a BRC. I had a little 125. I think it was 2 or 3 years in a row. We ran Caroga on Friday night, and then Turkey Trot was on Saturday night, and we did the double for UAS. And Ben won at Caroga like every time we go, and then I came in second there, and then I believe the same thing happened at Turkey Trot. He was just the Strail setup, Ben driving, even Keith back when he was racing. The Gallops were extraordinarily fast in the Northeast, and I chased them for many, many years. But yeah. Thanks. Hey Ben, are you planning on running to open the race for Randy at Moose Mountain? We'll see if it lines up. The 270 is probably a bit much for that track. I know that like Ron O'Neill runs a little 100cc there, and Jordal's probably going to have that Cater Digger. The little smaller CC. I think those are probably going to get around. Randy. I saw a video of Randy getting around Moose Mountain on the 131, and that 131 he had to detune it a bit. He had to lug it off the corners because we just timing is everything. I'm not afraid to bring the 270 up there. I've I've been on circle tracks before with it. I've been on flat stuff with it. If I can make it, I will come. But I can't promise anything, especially that late in the year. I might be in money savings mode because I need to get to the Grand Nationals, and depending on how my UAS season's going, we'll see. That definitely, Randy was a friend of mine, an adversary at first, but he became a friend of mine. After a long, storied battle between the two of us, young up and comer and somebody who was kind of the old guard. I needed to slay the dragon, if you will. We had words a couple times, but we ended up, yeah, I mean, real civil years after and everything. And we're it's a good dude. He's super fast. Definitely one of the first hurdles I ever had to get over as an open racer was beating him. Treads are so nice. No prep. The track is Nice. Yeah. There's a thing, if anybody's seen on Facebook, is I'm not anti treads. Uh, I just, if a track is good, what we call good, if it's if it's not loosey goosey dirt stuff, slicks are faster. Um, if Randy, well, I'll take for instance, and it's you can say what you will on certain tracks. Treads are definitely better. I take no, and I think that if everybody's running treads, I think equal is equal is equal. No prop. I do not dislike treads. Burris makes treads, Hoosiers, everybody, Maxis makes treads. I think they're fantastic. Everybody's on them. But when you're comparing, it's comparing apples to oranges. Yes, they're fruits. Yes, they're tires, but they're different. But I don't hate treads. I just don't have to run them. And the tracks that I run don't. They're not faster on the tracks that I run on. Have there been times when they have been faster? Ron O'Neill, I'm bringing his name up when we're at Paradise. He used to like to run those big bursts at there, and he could run the outside like nobody's business. But the bottom line was faster, and I was on slicks. Way back when Randy, used to run treads against, and he's came over and was just like, hey, it ain't time for slicks yet. And it's just like, well, I don't have tread. So, and then I went out there and the track was ready for slicks. And I went out and beat him with slicks, and he changed over to slicks that day. It was a funny story. Uh, Timmy Lawler was a buddy that we used to run against, and he was just like, he was like, that was pretty good. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't get into it with people, but there's like a challenge that I hate. I hate treads. I don't hate treads. I think they're necessary. They're an equalizer if everybody's on them, and if the track, is is a particular way, treads are the way to go. But when a track is good, slicks are faster. It's more contact patch. It's just you can look at it in NASCAR. The same thing happened. Chicago Road Course this past year. As soon as they could go to slicks, they went to slicks. Why? They're faster. But I don't just I don't have them. I just don't have them, so I don't dislike them. Sometimes I get this notion that people think I hate treads. I don't hate treads. But yes, uh, cool. How about first race there? So nice. You going to AMS this week? I am not going to go to AMS this weekend. I am going to keep my pennies, and I'm going to work on getting the cart ready for Weedsport in 2 weeks. It is my intent to either run the 26th or 27th at Weedsport and at least get that experience. I've heard the horror stories. Uh, it's not stopping me from wanting to go. I think it's going to be fine. I'm not running the money race. I'm gonna run the heavy class, the 400 class there, just so I'm not at a disadvantage. Even in the 375, I think 375, I'm heavy for 375, especially with gear and fuel on board. I'm going to be weighing in at somewhere in the north of probably 390. Although is the money class 390? Anyway, I don't want to get my butt kicked in a money class that I have no business, being in. I only have one set of new tires. I have a set of 2019 33s that are gonna make things work until it's go time, and hopefully I make the feature. And once the feature's on, my plan is to go to the new skins, unless of course the 19s are fast. I ground them. I got them feeling pretty good, so we'll see. It's a track I've never been to, and an experience I've never had. So I want to go and do that, and just as long as I don't get my stuff torn up, I'll be all right. As far as tire prep, they run Burris. What would you consider the tracks? Okay, as far as tire prep, they run Burris. What would you consider that track size? Are we talking about Moose Mountain? I think I'm. Oh no, Turkey Trot. Yes. Um, yes, they run Burris there. I'm pretty sure it's Burst track. I've always run UAS there. I've never run clone there, so it's. I was always on Vaga Yellows when I ran there, so it's hard for me to say. But I think Burris. I would assume Burris 33s are the tire choice there, and then it depends on. Sometimes it's nice and sticky. The last time I was there at UAS, though, it was not. It was pretty dry. And if it's dry, my I'm gonna tell you that the black sand, as far as tire prep goes, I'm a track tech guy. I'm a track track tech kind of guy, and a rep for them, if you will. I'm gonna say black sand and Acrosol on Burris is going to be something to fire them off and deal with the dry conditions, if it's dry. But I've also been to that track when it's been sticky and smooth as all get out. And but that was a while ago. He used to put. Did he put Palmolive? I think he put some kind of detergent in the water and then ran in that, and it would get squeaky when he was rolling it in. This was years ago, though. I haven't been there a ton. I think I went 2 years ago, and it wasn't that way. It was pretty dry the last time I went. But Turkey Trot is uphill into 1 and 2, and then downhill into 3 and 4. Two completely different corners. A lot of fun to drive. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that track. But last time I was there, I did not have a great time. Was I having engine woes? I can't quite remember. It didn't go so well, but yeah. I am sinking a Poe from Ostia. Okay. Well, hello. I don't know. Yes. Turkey Trot. Yes. Yep. AMS. Nice. You're trying to run the U3. Sweet. I love AMS. I didn't love it this past weekend. Again, not John's fault. I would never tear anybody down. Everybody gets a time or two of having a rough track, and I know for a fact I ran there most of the year last year, on and off with the clone. That is not typically the track that John has. It rained for like 3 days, and just steady rain for like 3 days prior to that. And when he went to go roll it in, it did not take. And he tried to scrape it, and he tried to roll it in, and it was rough. And like, I have pictures, like as you're entering 3, like it was moving the clay. It wasn't balling up, it wasn't pilling up, it wasn't doing anything a typical track would do, but it was like rolling over, like you had a block of clay and you were going like this. It was kind of building up and almost like a berm, but not a berm. Like, it was just rough. And I hit that stuff one too many times in my feature in the 375, and I had had enough of that. My head's cold. There. Sith Lord Ben. But yeah. I always like going to. I entered in the points in AMS. I'm not going to be there enough to actually accumulate points, but I told them when I was up there, they have the Midsummer Points Championship. Was it the dual 50s, dual 40s, whatever it was? I say dual, the 40s and 50s. They have a 40 lap or 50 lap feature or whatever. I think I call it that because I ran 2 classes. Anyway, that I qualified really well for, I think, the 375 class, and I had to start in the back because I wasn't in the points, and I thought that's not happening again. So I became a point. If I run that race again, I won't have to. I may get to start up a little further, depending where I am in points. But yeah. Oh goodness, a bit of headache. I don't know where that came from. So I had to took a day off yesterday. In the world of Ben, not that you guys need to know, but my wife's been off all week, spring break type thing. She's off. She works for the school, so she's off. And we went over to a local town, and they got a warplane museum, and went there, did that, and then we went to was it called the Tavern? Anyway, it's Geneseo, New York, and I had a oh shoot, what was it? Antelope burger. Huh. It's like, if you've ever had game, and there's definitely a natural gaminess to hunted meats, and it wasn't bad. It was really good. Matter of fact, I also had a beer, and I can tell you that between the two, my system was not happy with me. Like, I don't drink beer. I don't barely drink, and I was just, they got nice they got a nice lager on tap and this and that. So I had that, and then I had that burger, and phew, too old to be doing that stuff. Yeah. Said hi. Hi. Oh goodness. Yeah. So here's the cart. Still getting her back together. Got her washed. Um, Got to put oil in it. Ooh, let's go. There you go. Here you go, guys. Up here so I can converse with you. Oh, yeah. People ask me a lot about bearings, and I don't know everybody. There are people who really go out of their way to like tear down their entire rear axle, get the bearings off, put them in a you know and wash them out and lubricate this and that. I did start to take my axle out. I did start to take my hubs off last year. I had always been super lazy about it, and I know better. I knew better, just lazy. And I'd wash and lube them, and I got away with it for years in the open. But I know that when you do the clone racing, that you can't be getting hung up bearings and stuff. You don't have enough motor to push through bad stuff. And like I said, I know better than that. I shouldn't have been doing it all those years, but I did. And now taking off my rear axle, taking off my front hubs before I even wash the thing, just keeps them from getting wet and getting abused. And I had real good luck with it last year, so I'm going to continue that scenario this year. But yeah, that's stupid. I got the So here's my clone that I'm currently working on, and there's the open. Just sounds like such a it's a project. It's engine's still inside hanging out. I know what we can do. I can measure some tires. I let the air out. I was growing tires last night, and I let the air out to let them normalize, and we'll see where they're at. Titanium crank bolt to hold the clutch on. Yeah, pretty cool. 5.3 titanium. Ooh, pretty sweet. I am running Dyno K, just per my engine builder. This stuff, super light. They said they saw a horsepower difference in it, and um it protected very well. And I don't know enough about oils or tried enough of them to have a super opinion on it. But my engine, I just go by my engine builder. I'm not a 4-stroke guru. Um, so I don't have a preference or anything like that. It's just what I got, and I happen to be down to JC Specialties, and they had for the open house, and they had the sale, so I went and bought a gallon. I think I went through 2 gallons or better part of 2 gallons last year, as much as I ran. Um, I mean, the stuff's like $50 a gallon. It ain't cheap, but um, I've heard people run other stuff like oh shoot, why am I drawing a blank? Oh, they were down the JC specially too. FHS. So at one point in time, I had some FHS 62R, which is a lot thicker, and a buddy of mine runs it. And I gave him the quart that I had because I didn't know what to do with it. Um, and he said that you don't see it's a thicker oil, so you don't see maybe the horsepower advantage, but it also lasts a lot longer. Like, he didn't concern himself with Dyno K. Say I was running, two classes. Um, I would go out and I'd practice, 1 class, 2 class. I'd go out and qualify or heat race, 1 class, 2 class, change oil, and then come feature time, run your features, whatever it be, 20 laps, or each feature, 30 laps, 40 laps, 50 laps, whatever that maybe the 50 laps you could change it again if you wanted to, but I think you'd be all right. Um, I ended up, when you run dual classes or more than dual classes, you change your oil more often. It's just it's a good thing to have fresh oil in there, but $50 a gallon, you tend to go through the stuff pretty quickly. Yeah, like I said, I went through better part of 2. That's the second gallon from last year. Um, it worked well. Motorworks, uh, that's what they run. That's what they continue to run, and they're my engine builders. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. But I wouldn't have any problem whatsoever running anything else. Um, what was it? Was it Power Plus Pro? I saw JC had a sale on the other day, and then the FHS. Thor oil used to be huge back in the day, but that guy's hasn't gotten the gentleman who owned Thor oil passed, and then the kid is supposed to take over the business. I don't know much about the story, but supposedly that's it. That just kind of waiting on him to kind of re get going. Thor oil was it's pretty huge up in these parts years ago. It's just funny. I watch Supercross and stuff like that, and there's Thor. There's Thor gear that everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people like Deegan and stuff wear on Star. Let's measure some tires, shall we? All right, got a 2025. Hey, it's funny. So that video, I still answer. I try and answer every comment that comes on YouTube. At least give you a thumbs up or whatever it is. But it's funny that one video. I hope that comes down some. I bet you it will. I'm going to leave this at 5 pounds. Yeah, it's fine. I already set that 5 pounds in that one. It's reading 34.5 now. I hate when tires are down below 34. 34.5 is a bit much. I'm sure it'll shrink. If not, I can shrink it. But we're going to check the up front now. This was tiny. This was like 32 and an 8 when I mounted it, and I was just like, there we go. That's more reasonable. 32.5, perfect. Yep. So I think my 2025s are, as long as that guy comes down a little bit, because what would that be? Maybe 2 inches front stagger. All right. Just off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am. Currently run Thoro. That's why I was asking. Dyno K is showing 65 a gallon on Dyno Cams. Yikes! Yeah. Did I price the? I was looking at FHS and I was thinking about getting them because the rep was there at the JC open house, and I thought okay, but I want to say was it $13 a quart or something like that? Was it a quart or was it 14? I thought, was it 13? It just sounded like a lot for what you're getting. Maybe it was 16 ounces? Yeah, I think it was a quart. And I mean, I run 14 ounces in my engines. So I was thinking, damn, it's $13 an oil change. Now, $50 a gallon sounds excessive, but there's 128 ounces in a gallon. So it didn't equal out the same, but I could be wrong. I could be. I don't want to at all talk smack on FHS because I can't remember what they said. How big they were just small though. It seemed real efficient. Like, well, just pour this in and there's your oil change. But I want to say it was like $13 or something. I thought, oof, for an oil change. I'm like, I think a better deal is getting a gallon. But that might have been because it was individually, type of thing. You think the Burris would change stagger? Yeah, and they will change stagger. That's what I got some gripes about. I know Burris is sponsored channel. It doesn't mean they're not immune to criticism. They won't hold size as good as other brands, but they're more easily manipulated than other brands. I have a bear of a time getting Vagas and stuff like that to the size that I need them. But when I set them at that size, they stay there. Burris, way easier to get them to where I want to go, but you better check them before the next time you go out because it will change size on you. All right, this is a 2019 33. Boy, Ben, why don't you get some new stuff? I do have new stuff. I just have one new set of 33s. I probably should have gotten two, but it is what it is. Oh, okay. All right. Like that's still got to normalize, but 34 and a quarter. I'm sure I just let the air out not too long ago. So I find that for anybody who's wondering, when you go ahead and stretch tires, there's 34 and 3/8. There's going to be a point in, you set it a 1/4 inch over where you want it where you want it to be. Then you excessively heat it, whether it be in a hot box, whether it be a heat gun, whether it be a torch, and get it, and then you shock the tread if you want to in cold water. Now, in this case, I did not shock these. I just took them out of the hot box and let them sit overnight, kind of normalize the temperature. When you let the air out, what they come to isn't where they're going to stay. Like I just let, I've been on here half an hour, so I let the air out just before I came on here. So they have only been set at the pressures I'm going to run for half an hour. I guarantee you, by the time I come back in here tonight, tomorrow, whatever, and the tread normalizes again, it's going to shrink some. It won't stay there. Thor is good oil. Yeah, I always heard really good stuff about it. Matter of fact, my buddy Bobby used to exclusively run Thor oil in all his open stuff. So he had the big Tecumsehs, and he used to, I called it the Tower of Power because they always stood straight up. When you get the whole valve train and everything going on those Tecumsehs. And he always used to use Thor oil and really liked it. He says it's super good stuff. So, yep. AMSOIL 4T. Yep, there's another good one. I think I reached out to them just to ask them what they ran in clones or would recommend for running in clones. AMSOIL was a good one. We're running into the higher stagger. Yep, definitely. Yeah, and that's when you get into mixing. I have pre-mix because I run 2-stroke too. Yeah, there's pre-mix, Green Label Caster. There's some other brands, like I said, Power Plus is one of them that mixes well, but you got to be real careful with that stuff. And even in 4 strokes, like if an oil is temperamental to methanol use, 4-stroke, you get cylinder wash and stuff like that. The methanol gets down into the oil and starts breaking down the viscosity of it. It can cause real bad stuff to happen. I am doing good, Doug. How are you, sir? Valvoline 20 weight 50. And being able to get Lucas karting oil. I would prefer a lighter oil. Anyone running VR1 and have some opinion? It's a good question. Buy me a chicken. Chicken, please. Okay. Winner, chicken dinner? Possibly. I love it. So I am not somebody who thinks I'm going to win all the time. I am a realist when it comes to that. Do I think that I have the possibility of winning if I hit on it? I'm a realist. So when I'm going to this Weedsport race, I was mentioning at work, I was just like, I'm going up against people who have been there before, and they have a skill set of the track. They know what to expect. They, tires, the whole 9 yards. I'm at a bit of a deficit on tires as far as what I have will have in my trailer for it. And I want to go there for the experience. I want to go in there, log laps and see what I can do type of thing. But, of course, my guys at work are, you just, if you don't think you can win, then you're not going to win. It's just like, listen, mister, I don't, are you a non-racer talking to a racer about racer mentality? Come on, man. Like, jeez. Machining parts in the shop, watching you trying to learn. So, yeah, I would have learned too much from me. That's by default. I'm self-deprecating. It's funny. I tell a funny joke. My wife got me with a zinger the other day, and it had to deal with pool water and things Uh, she's it was I have been with my wife for 30 years, dating and not married, married 98, something like that. Anyway, and she hit me with the best zinger I have heard last week, and I can't get over it. It was. Oh, did you jump in the pool too? I can't say it on here because it's profane, but 30 years later, still making me laugh. It's great. Uh, Anyway, yeah, I don't know where I was going with it. It just pops in my every time I think of it. It's funny. I couldn't. I told her yesterday I was hanging out with her. I was just like, I had to tell her. I was like, that was the best thing, the funniest thing you have said to me in 30 years, and it's just funny that like. Oh, I know where I was going with all that. I'm self-deprecating. I'm all for a good joke, and I'm all for. I never ever think that I'm. I like to contemplate different things. I'm never going to be. You have to do this. If you do not, if you only run your burst this many times, and you got to let them blah 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 blah. I'm not that person. Hey, if you think that's the conventional knowledge is hooey, I probably will agree with you. Until proved wrong, try it. Like oh, you can only run a burst, you know, one time, and then you got to change to a new a brand new tire. There might be some validity to it. Why not? Just rather than monkey see, monkey do, try it. See if those tires fall off a tenth or two or three. If you run them another time, I'm bound to find out here in a couple weeks how far behind I am. But yeah, oh, trying to understand. What's up, dude? What up? What? It's been funny a couple times this past week here. Uh, it's been brought up a couple times. They're like, "Oh, I hope I didn't offend you with that," and it's just like, I'm, uh, I'm Gen X. It's like, man, if you heard the conversations between my best friends and I, you would think we hate each other. It is, it's great. It's, it's almost like, how mean can you be to somebody before they really like, dude, uncalled for. Okay. Those are clone engines, Hurons, mobile, 1020, especially full synthetic. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of good information here on oils. Yeah. I would love to expand on my oil knowledge, but I don't know. I just, my intent is to know what the oil was doing. I would have to get into the engine and be able to see the wear and tear. And I don't do four strokes. I'm a two-stroke guy. I run, obviously the cones are four-stroke, but if I'm, I can put a piston in a two-stroke. That's my. But I also, know what I'm looking for inside a two-stroke, ports and what have you, and cylinder wear and all that jazz. What's going on, Scott? Um, but yeah, until such as a day as I tear one of these things apart and find out what they look like on the inside, I'm just going to go with what the engine builder tells me. He likes dyno. He's not making any money off it. I bought my stuff down to JC. I mean, I can buy it off my Motorworks, but I happen to get my own this time. But if that's what he runs, that's what he trusts in. I'm like, okay, cool. But then they're obviously it's my engine. I can do with it what I want with it. If I want to change oil, that'd be cool. My buddy came up with a horror strokes. Nice, yeah, yeah. Gail, yeah, I've said it to you a bunch of times, Doug. Gil knows his stuff. Gil's a good dude. Um, yeah, good North Carolina guy living in Cali now. Yeah, he used to back in the heyday of the UAS when it was not so much a North versus South. It was Carolina versus Florida. That used to be quite the battle. I just talked to Eddie Streifels the other night. That was great. One of the OG dogs from down in Florida. Still running UAS, still doing stuff. Um, oh, really? He's in Lincoln, Nebraska? I thought he was out in California now. Jeez, freaking moving around. He was in California, right? positive of that because he was talking about being in Northern Carolina or Northern California last time I knew. I could be wrong. It's been a minute since I've even seen him. Was it 20? I see him in 2020. I think we're down to Ohio at the UAS Grand Nationals. Is that the last time I saw him? It might have been. Yeah, it's hard. That's one thing about the UAS is when you do the Grand Nationals once a year. It's like family getting back together, and sometimes family members come to the reunion. Sometimes they don't. That's going to be a funny thing this year too. My 30-year high school reunions this year. Getting together, seeing some people. It was funny. I saw a classmate I hadn't seen in 30 years. It's been 30 years since I graduated, and I saw him for the first time. It's like we graduated, and then 30 years, and then hey man, what's going on? It was so weird. He was in Cali. He was in Cali 10 years. Okay. See, I'm not crazy. I'm just a little off. Oh goodness. Yeah. Oh, in the comment on that. Did see that. I didn't mean to ignore it. But up here, 360 footage. Yeah, this thing, pretty darn cool, man. I like the, I took the guard off this side because this side's looking at me. I just wanted the protection, make sure I don't, I think between the camera and the case, and I got a selfie stick for it. This thing, it was like $400 or something for this. Yes, I could have bought tires. Yes, I know. Cameras don't make you fast, but also I run a YouTube channel, and cameras are something that I need to make content. And it turned out really cool. I like the as much as the 360 is really cool, and there's software in there. I have to learn when you're editing, you have to make choices of how the 360 works. I don't know that I can make it so everybody can just turn their camera and look completely around. I'm not sure that's possible. I could be wrong, but yeah, I got to watch some YouTube tutorials on it, on editing, and get an idea of what I could do. What I do like is that looking out the front and looking at the driver type of thing, even if it's in a little up in the corner, or that split screen. That was really cool too, being able to see what's out in front of me and what I'm doing driving. But that pan around was really that nice slow pan around to show what AMS looks like. It's a really fun track. It just, like I said before at the beginning of the stream, that it was unfortunate that it went sideways. These building carts, be sporting on one. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. He's out in Nebraska. Now, I know Nebraska's big, but yeah, Kermit's out there. Kermit's a good dude. Bully clutches. Obviously, I run a Bama 270. Yeah, Kermit's a super dude. Busy. I can't even imagine how coming into race season and being a clutch manufacturer making clutches. That's yeah, that'd drive me freaking nuts. I'm busy as is, getting my stuff ready, and then being on the channel and everything. I can only imagine the amount of emails he deals with, and oh my goodness, that would be crazy. There's my duct tape. I was at the track the other day, and I was wondering where my duct tape is. It's right there. Why is it hanging up there? I don't know why I did that. Yeah. Kermit's a real good dude. I met him a couple times when we ran out to Lazowski. I met him out there once, and then he was down in Florida, in Jasper, Florida, in 2019 for the Grands there. It's unfortunate. I lost an engine. It was my fault. I had it way too. She was digging, baby. She was digging. I was winning the first heat in the Grand Nationals there. I qualified 7th out of 42. And I was going away in the heat race and locked her up way too lean. Didn't think about sea level. My bad. Again, I don't know everything. But Oh, I don't have a. Here's a engine builder was sent out my clutch as a bully, but he gave me a loaner. This is Viper style, or it's got bully basket on it. But 10 tooth, or I'm sorry, 11 tooth. Here's an 11 tooth. Look, no bearing. Ugh. Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with 2 disc clutches. I'm used to dealing with those big meaty 4 discs, and but it seemed to work pretty good. Engaged right where I needed it to engage, and did all that stuff. But yeah, it had success with these two 5.3 titanium. I've showed these before, but pretty rad stuff. 5.3, the etch in there. I see they came up with they got aluminum one of nuts now, and they say don't use an impact on them. I was like, oh, I don't want them then. Were they aluminum? I think they're aluminum, or were they stainless steel? They built something out of stainless. No, maybe they're stainless steel. Oh shoot, I can't remember. 5.3 titanium. Anyway, copy. Have you heard of qualifying a single disc clutch? Oh, I've not heard of that. Rotational weight might make sense. I mean, I know they make single disc clutches. I always assumed they were for kids that aren't going to be as abusive on them because they're so light and everything like that. I have zero experience with it, but I wouldn't put it past it. Rotational weight is everything. Get into light and stuff and mini gears and titanium nuts and this and that. I wouldn't, I would imagine that would be a thing, putting on if you're going out running qualifying laps, you're gonna want to maximize your horsepower and try and put in the best time you can to qualify the best. I've never seen it done, but I'm sure it has been done. But as far as race wise, you're asking a lot out of a single desk to deal with starts and restarts and the whole nine. I mean, you're increasing your chances of overheating your clutch the fewer discs you run. I had clutches were a huge thing in UAS and still are to this day. That if you abuse them, they will melt down on you. I've overheated. If it's happened to a clutch, I've probably done it on an open. So I can imagine that it would be I don't want to say a bunch faster, but rotational weight. You're maximizing horsepower. That makes sense. Once my surgeon clears the race, I'm gonna fly Nebraska kill. Sweet, yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, there might be something kind of cool coming down the line. I don't ever want to get my hopes up with anything. Like I said, I'm a realist. If cool stuff happens, then cool stuff happens. But I don't get like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen. Get my panties in a bunch and then have it not happen and be disappointed. I'm a realist that way. I just don't, kind of with my family. Like I don't ever want to promise things. I say it's a possibility. We're going to work towards it, and we'll try and do it. But I don't ever want to get say, hey, we're going to do this, and then not be able to do it. I'll let you know next week how well it works. Ooh, yeah, cool. Yeah. If you're going to experiment with it, yeah, absolutely. That'd be something to play with. It's not a bad idea. I mean, I'd have to get a whole nother clutch, but I don't think I've never qualified well. I've never I don't qualify bad, but I've never qualified great. I think the last Grand National. I don't know the last Grand National I ran. I didn't qualify. I was running the B main and threw a chain in that. But then 2023. Is that what year that is? 22. 2022. I think I qualified 13th or something like that. Yeah. So don't. I don't ever want to get my hopes up with things until they actually happen. It happens. Therefore I can't, maybe it's uh, preparing myself for disappointment. But you can't be disappointed if you never expected it to happen. That was a super cool thing that I can't remember if it was a video, if it was a meme, or if maybe it was a video. I was watching in a somebody was talking about the differences between males and females, and how, like a wife, for instance, will prepare everything and have a checklist and this and that, and then things eventually are gonna go sideways because they always do. And then that's kind of when the male or the husband or whatever comes and not swoops in, but he was just like, all right, and I come in and I handle this and I handle that and I handle this. And I think it was a girl was saying, she says it's very frustrating because he wasn't prepared for anything, but there he was making the best of everything that was going wrong. And the guy was analyzing it, yes, because as males, we typically we expect things to go off the rails. Therefore, we're prepared. We're not prepared, but we're prepared for it not to go right. So when it doesn't go right, we're there to make the best of what we can. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That, my wife has itinerary, and hey, we're going to do this and here's the plan. And I don't plan for any of that to go to plan. I just wait for, how can I fix whatever is bound to go wrong. But yeah, I wish I better explaining how that went, but it was funny slash true. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. And it races the same way. uh, I just anticipate things to go sideways. I think it's better. You could go in there with the best intentions possible, but be prepared for things to go wrong, and be prepared to be like, all right, if this happens, we got to do this. If this happens, okay, this came apart. Don't, throw your hands up and be in disgust and this and that. How can I fix it? How can I get it back on track? How can I make do with this? How can it, do I need any assistance? Anything like that? It's just, I think it's, do your best to prepare for the race day or whatever, but fully anticipate it's racing. Things are going to break. Accidents are going to happen. I saw somebody having a brand new body, got in an accident. The first day out of racing, not even a points night, got the nose stuff back in, had to cut out part of the nose chunk in order to get into the feature and finish the feature. Yep, things happen. The first day out, brand new body. You didn't want that to happen, but it happened. And just be prepared. Did I bring tools? Can I cut that out? Can I handle this? Just it's a it I think it's a to be realistic that things don't always go your way is just a better way of going through life and racing, especially. Um, Knowing full well that, oops, well, that happened. You can be disappointed, but I don't think being disappointed or being upset fixes anything. Um, Taking the bull by the horn and making it work. There you go. That's, that take bull by the horn, bull by the horns. Don't grab him by his horn. It's a good way to get. I used to milk cows. Don't ever do that. There was a story about a rookie and a hazing. Um, I can't. I couldn't even tell you the kid's name. He was a know-it-all. He ran in there. He was going to tell us how to do things because he grew up on a farm, quote unquote, and we had been there for years. And we got him to massage a bull, his manhood, the boys, with some bag bomb because you had. Oh man, was 19 years old. What a jerk. What a jerk. Oh, I got so many dumb stories throughout. Like, you get to be, your late 40s, and all of a sudden you're like, hey man, I've lived a bit of a life. I have stories. I have this and that and experiences, and just randomly, when you're on the internet sometime thinking about things, you think about, oh, that one time that we were hazing the new milker guy at the farm, and we got him to use bag bomb on a bull. We could have killed him. That was that would have been horrible. I'm sorry, unalived him. Jeez, it's the internet. I get demonetized for saying the K word. Um, oh man, it's so not funny, but it is funny. I think I started milking cows when I was 18 years old. It was a double 21 parallel parlay when I started, and there was a segment where I left and then I came back, but altogether I was there 5 or 6 years. And by the time I left, it was a double 48 parallel, and we were doing, was it 60,000 pounds of milk a shift, something like that. It was a 1,950 head farm that we were milking. uh, that's some, you want to talk about. I was a vegetarian at the beginning of my relationship. My wife, she's a vegetarian. I was like, I'll give it a shot, and it was a terrible idea. And I weighed 128 pounds because I milked cows, and I was doing, it was pay period. It was every 2 weeks. I think I did. I was putting in like 120 hours pay period, and running on no protein. I was eating garbage too. I mean, yeah, so many stories. So many stories. Curtis season opener. Nice. That looks. Is that big track, Doug? Speedway. I think I remember that from. Oh shoot, what's his name? Oh darn it! He had the red flames on the side of his cart. Ran the PK 250. I remember. I remember that. I think that the UAS ran there. Oh shoot, I'm terrible with names sometimes. Yeah, race is coming up. It's going to become race season here real quick. You know, I think John at AMS was 2 times a while. Yeah. Um, John from AMS was talking about, we were one of the only tracks in the Northeast to be running last weekend, which is really cool. Ryan Fernandez. Yeah. Who would Ryan buy his stuff off? Shoot. Fernandez. No. Oh shoot. See, I'm drawing a blank. He came all the way. He came out to Ohio one year and raced UAS. He had the PKs with the Tritons. Anyway, yeah. So we have at least Northeast up here. You know, tracks is starting to get in. I think that Dreamfield is starting up tomorrow. I will not be going to that. It's just tough on Fridays. Friday tracks are just a no, Joseph. No, I can't. I'll think of it. He builds shocks now for bigger cars, not cars, but his sprints and stuff like that. He does shocks now. I know he does that. Who I'm thinking of. I think that Ryan and everybody, they got the stuff off of him. The same looking carts, the same Tritons, the same body work and all that with the West Snow bodies. But he builds shocks now. Yeah, where was I? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. So racing. You know, I can't. As soon as I think of it, I'll let you know. I'll probably PM you or DM. One of the DM. I still miss the days of PM. DM you when I think of the name or see him. But yeah, so we support in 2 weeks. Oh, John was right. You know, one of the first tracks there. Dreamfield tomorrow night. Yeah, Friday nights are terrible for me just because I got to work till 5. So it's going to be. I hope to make it out. I'd like to go support Brandon Clapperton and his efforts out there. See what the track's like and everything like that. But I might have to take half a day off of work in order to make it out to a race. I'll look at the schedule or whatever. But then Weedsport in 2 weeks. That's going to be like a Frostbuster type thing. It's going to be. Hunterstown starts Saturday. That's awesome. Yep. That's in 2 weeks. The 26th to 27th, there's going to be money on the line. I think it's 1,000 to win for the pro, 375 or 390, whatever it is, on Saturday, and then 2,000 to win on Sunday. I don't know which one I'm going to go to. It's kind of up in the air. My birthday is Saturday, and I was going to race on that Saturday, but I may still. I got to look at my son's schedule because we want to, do a birthday dinner and this and that. I love to race, but I love my family more. So if we get to spend some time together, go out and eat and hang out, and we call them family fun days. My kids are grown, and there's going to be a time when my kids are doing their own thing, and I want to experience them as much as I possibly can up until that point. So if it's my birthday, whatever it is, I will use the excuse to go out to dinner with them and hang out with them. I got great kids, and I just, someday I'm gonna really miss them. Someday I'm gonna miss them, and I don't want to give up. Even though I love racing, but I could possibly run on Saturday. Depends on when my son's working. My daughter's off on the weekend, so no big deal there. But go get bite to eat and then race the other day. But then May the 3rd is the Clone Wars, and I would like to go. I've only run Selden's Grove once. I ran at UAS and I won. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it was a fun track to drive, and I think that being on the Reaper is going to equalize a lot of the speed that maybe some of the bigger teams have. Not saying I can win. Again, this isn't a thing. I just think it'd be a really cool experience to go down there and all be on, a more equal tire that people have less knowledge about. And, it's still, they're people are learning about the Reaper, but it's still up in the air. And whether or not they can get, new Reapers is its own subject in itself. But I have somebody I can get some newer Reapers than I have here, which I think will be better. I still might be, if I do it, I only buy one set, maybe two sets, something like that off them, and go. But we'll see. I ain't won the UAS championship yet. I would like to go. We'll see. That's what I was just talking about. We'll see. There's just thing, I'd have to buy a couple sets of tires. I know where I can get some Reapers. They're going to be older than some of the other teams are going to have, which is fine. I don't expect it. If I do be able to do it, chances are, again, run the 400 class, whatever it is. I'm not going to be running for super money or anything like that. I am a heftier guy, so I get to run the fat guy class. That's cool. But it depends. It depends how the sport goes. Depends how that feel out. My wife's okay with me going down and testing my luck down there, but I think I'll have to buy a driver for my clutch. I only have an 11 because it's just smaller tracks that we run up here. I'm sure I'll have to buy a bigger driver for that in order to change my clutch over and get the gearing right for that. But yeah, May the 3rd. May the 4th be with you. It would have been cool but that's a Monday. Attack of the Clones on May the 4th. That would have been sweet. I know, it's on Sunday. It's is it Sunday? Yeah, I think it's Sunday. Or maybe it's Saturday. It would have been cool to have that, actually on May the 4th. But yeah. Is that 128 Productions that's putting that on? Boots? Boots? Yeah, he's doing the promotional stuff, fantastic. The incentives, fantastic. Love it. I really love that stuff because it really, yes, there's bonuses to people who win, but also just in general, like I think it's fantastic to put into the sport. Anyway, guys, we have been over an hour now, and I got stuff to do, but yeah, I also got to work tomorrow, so I gotta. How do I say that without swearing? I gotta poop, shower, and shave. I don't shave. I probably don't have to poop either, but I gotta shower. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out. I think I've had some questions because of the video, the stupid video about surfacing tires, and I thought I'd elaborate a bit. That's probably coming Sunday. I kind of this morning as I was drinking coffee, I was thinking I have so many ideas in my phone of what videos to do, but some of them are more intensive. I need like B-roll footage and this and that, and it's just some of the subjects are going to take a bit more thought of eventually you got to do them. But I think this one's going to be on surfacing tires because I've had quite a few people ask me about that. What are my opinions on when you should surface tires, how often, what brands, what grits, stuff like that. I thought I'd elaborate a little bit. Again, I'm not privy to what everybody does in the country, just to what some general rules about surfacing tires should be. things that you can consider when surfacing, what's actually going to happen. As far as what you've prepped with them, what you're doing to the tire. I thought it would. I've had a couple people ask me about it. I thought people ask, they want to know. So maybe I'll do a video on that. That's the intent right now. I may change my mind, but so I guess you'll have to find out someday. But I appreciate you guys coming by again for a Thursday. Eventually, I gotta reach out to some people. I think it would be fun to have people, not just me, do this, but if I could get somebody to banter back and forth with, if I can get somebody, uh, I don't want to say prominent in the sport, but we'll see. Who I might be able to get on here sooner or later. It's awkward. Hey man, you want to come do a live stream with this guy you've never met on the internet and talk about stuff? But anyway, I will. I'll catch you guys later. And have a good night. Bye.